How to find and wholesale pre-foreclosures in under 60 seconds. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here, and in today's video, I'm gonna give you a $4,000 pre-foreclosure masterclass absolutely for free. So if you wanna learn exactly how to find a pre-foreclosure lead and pull the list and just start wholesaling it in under a minute, this is gonna be the video for you. I'm gonna go and do step-by-step the meat and potatoes of the entire pre-foreclosure process so you can understand it, so you can start wholesaling it today. Pre-foreclosures are one of the most motivated lists. One of my favorite parts, it is absolutely free to pull. Most gurus won't tell you this, and they don't want to tell you all the information because honestly, they want to charge you thousands of dollars how to learn to do pre-foreclosures. But I'm going to demystify the whole process and show you exactly how to do it today, absolutely for free. But before I get into it, do me a big favor, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. So what is a pre-foreclosure? A pre-foreclosure is basically the first legal process of usually a bank foreclosing on or trying to repossess the home from a defaulted borrower, which basically means these are people that are not paying their mortgages, and because they're not paying the mortgage payment, the bank is just going to take the property over to get their money. The lender usually files something called a notice of default and a list pendants to start the court action of trying to get the property back when they're not paying it. Usually after 3 to 4 missed payments, this is when that process starts going and we get into the pre-foreclosure process. This is roughly 120 days or 3 to 4 months. Now, during this process, the sellers who are actually being foreclosed on, they do have options. They can still save the home, they're legally allowed to live in the house, and they can sell the property and avoid the whole process. That's what we in wholesaling real estate do. We offer to buy it cash to help save them the home. The point here, guys and gals, is why this is so motivated and such an amazing wholesaling list is because they have to sell it. They don't have much time before the property goes up for auction and they lose the home. On top of that, pre-foreclosure looks really bad on your credit history, and it's gonna be very hard to get another loan on a bank. So you're honestly helping a seller out. You're gonna be able to make a ton of money on the assignment deals, and honestly, it's a win-win for everyone. So let's break down what the whole pre-foreclosure process entails. So here's a pretty good graphic I use at freeholding.com to really break down pre-foreclosures, and it's basically a 5-step process. Step 1 is usually when the seller misses 1 to 3 payments. This is what we call pre-foreclosure. The seller's getting letters from the bank, nothing's really happening here, saying you gotta do it or we're gonna start foreclosing on you. Then usually after 120 days, a notice of default is filed, a list pendants is filed, and the process commences. This is when we are officially in the pre-foreclosure process. I'm gonna fast forward and skip the third part really quick, but once that process starts, it ends with an auction date being set and it gets foreclosed in an auction or the bank takes it over. That's how the process works. So really simply, somebody starts missing payments, they send letters to the bank, they start the process officially of a pre-foreclosure. Within this time frame, there's going to be an auction date set, not instantly, but it'll take some time. Once that's set, that auction date will happen and then the property is done. So what's really important here is this period in between where they're officially in the pre-foreclosure process and the auction date is set. Once the auction date is set, it's extremely difficult to wholesale that deal. It's not possible, but it's very difficult. So this entire process in between is what I like to call the wholesaling window of opportunity. This is the opportunity for us to wholesale the deal, save the seller, and stop a lot of headaches for ourselves. So between that pre-foreclosure process and the auction date being set, this is when we go to wholesale. I wish I can give you an entire time frame of it. Sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's 2 months. Heck, I've seen years happen between this is set. It's all pretty arbitrary and different banks work differently, different states, laws, and everything like that. So I can't give you an exact time frame, but usually you have a couple months at a minimum, sometimes a month too. But this wholesaling window of opportunity, this is the time to market the property, get it under contract, talk to the sellers, assign it, cash buyer, close it, get the title company set, and help the seller out. But once that auction date is set, most sellers, I'll tell you, they don't want to deal with you when you're marketing to them when they're in their pre-foreclosure. They're in denial. They think they're going to hit the lottery. They're going to take care of it themselves. And they're in a huge denial phase here. Most sellers will not go to you and admit defeat until 3 to 7 days before the auction date is actually going to happen. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do there. Pre-foreclosure sellers, they got into this mess because they're procrastinating and they're in denial. And they're probably going to do it until the date is actually going to be set. And I hate to say it, but we're going to have to go after the people that are before the auction date set. So let's get into actually how to find and pull the pre-foreclosure list. So if you have no money, you want to start out absolutely for free, I highly recommend you go to your county's clerk of the court website or the public records and find it. You can either call and see how you pull it online if you're doing virtual wholesaling, or actually go in person and get the list in person. What you're going to want to do is look at the list pendant section. It's a Latin term, kind of lawyer talk, and or find the notice of default, or what we call NOD, N-O-D. And this is gonna be mostly all the pre-foreclosures. Usually the person filing the pre-foreclosure is gonna be a big bank or mortgage company. It might say loans on it, and for an amount over 50,000, it's gonna be that. Sometimes you might have like a Bank of America that has a notice of default for like a $10,000 asset, and that's usually a credit card debt lien list, which heck, is a good wholesaling list too. But we wanna make sure it's over 50,000, 60, 70, and there's usually a property attached on the public records with the name, and that's when you're gonna be able to see. Once you find that, there's probably gonna be a borrower who's in default, and their name's gonna be on there, and usually the property address, and that's where we get the information to skip trace them and start marketing to them. Now that takes some time, and it's a lot manual, but you do get the stuff as quick as possible. But on top of that, you can get the list just as quick by just paying for a service like ListREI.com or ZachDay.com. There are some free pre-foreclosure websites out there that are like software, but I found they're very unreliable and they're not that good. PropStream and Batch Lead spends millions of dollars actually learning how to get this list, and they update it very quickly and very efficiently. The next step here is pretty simple. Once we pull that list, we skip trace them and we start marketing to them. I want to give everybody a big word of advice here. Do not cold call a pre-foreclosure list. Once you're in pre-foreclosure, usually behind on your credit cards, obviously behind on your mortgage payment, there's going to be all these loan servicing companies, these credit repair agencies, realtors that just hound a seller. Once you're in pre-foreclosure, you're probably going to get 5 to 6 calls every single day. And you get to the point where you just don't want to answer your phone anymore. I've dealt with hundreds of pre-foreclosure sellers like this in person, and they just don't answer the phone anymore. If they don't know who the number's from, they don't answer it. Loan sharks, servicing companies, it's so annoying that they just don't want to deal with it. So cold calling it's going to be terrible results. So do not cold call this list. When it comes to pre-foreclosures, I would say SMS text blasting, reverse drawing for dollars, or door knocking a list like this. Yes, I said that right. Door knocking actually works pretty well too. Also on top of that, direct mail is really good too. So I just stick on SMS text blasting, reverse drawing for dollars, direct mail, and door knocking as marketing channels. Honestly, I've tried them all. Those are going to be the top 4 for this type of list. Like I've said before, if you want to go out here and door knock a list, just know that the seller is going to be in denial. When I do my marketing, I don't tell a seller that, hey, I know you're in a pre-foreclosure and I can give you a solution with a cash offer. First of all, that's going to bring up an embarrassing situation for them and you don't know them that well. So I would not mention that at all. I sort of do it like probates. I don't say, hey, I saw your uncle died, I want to buy his house. I say, hey, are you the owner of that house and are you looking to sell it? Just do it casually, because if they're embarrassed, they don't want to talk about it. They say, no, I'm not looking to sell. That is it. They might say, why are you asking me if I want to sell my house? You just say something pretty simple, like, hey, me and my partner are looking to buy some properties in the area. We're just reaching out to everyone in the neighborhood. Are you looking to sell? That's pretty much it. Reverse drawing for dollars is probably gonna be the best thing to do there, because it's like direct mail. They call you, you get their phone number, and it gives us the best results. Now, if you want to learn how to reverse draw for dollars, SMS, door knock, or do any direct mail, I recommend you go to my free real estate wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com. I'll show you everything from start to finish, the entire wholesaling real estate process. Then from there, you start marketing. The wholesaling process is pretty much the same. You get the deal locked up. Now we know there's a pre-foreclosure process, so we want to get the deal locked up as soon as possible. Bring it to the title company, and this is the best part. You let the title company handle the pre-foreclosure out. They're really used to it, especially if they're a wholesaling friendly title company, and we're gonna let them do a lot of the hard work. They're gonna call the seller and get all the information to save everything with the bank, to help the seller out and help you make money. Leave a lot of the stress to the title company and don't put it all on yourself to save the whole deal. Get the deal locked up, bring it to a title company, and get the deal done. Just know there are states and laws where pre-foreclosures have a lot more rights than the average seller, obviously, so people don't take advantage of people in this situation. That being said, there's nothing extra special you have to do, but in my personal opinion, it's not a law, but I would most likely avoid memorandums and affidavits of contracts of your equitable interest on any pre-foreclosure. And in the process, if they want to get out of it, just let them out. Don't fight them. It's not worth it right now, especially somebody in a pre-foreclosure process. They're already going to lose the house if they don't deal with you. So let them try whatever they want. They're going to come up with everything in their head. Oh, my realtor friend Johnny said he can sell this thing in 3 days. I went out of the contract. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to let them out. If they're not cooperative, don't deal with it. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of motivated sellers out here in pre-foreclosures that need your help, and you can definitely go out here and help them. And unfortunately, with the economic situation we're at, there's more pre-foreclosure sellers happening every single month. Not a crazy spike, but there's a huge amount that are going to start increasing. And this is why I made this video today, so you can start taking advantage of this opportunity. Now, if you want to learn more exactly on the process, I have a full 2-hour breakdown of pre-foreclosures. So if the seller asks you about the process and how you can help them out, I would definitely go to freewholesaling.com so you can explain it to them too, so you're as knowledgeable as possible. Just go to freewholesaling.com to learn that and the entire wholesaling real estate process. Guys, start pulling this list, start marketing these type of sellers, and start making a ton of money. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.